some of you have set the foot for the first time on African soil. And we are bringing international energies from North America, from Europe, from Asia, and from Africa. Let's give it the context. If we accept for the moment the view of many conventional astronomers, geologists, and theoretical physicists, our universe is 13 billion years old. Our mother planet is 4.5 billion years old. A few hundred million years back, there was one piece of land on the planet, Pangaea. And then different continents started forming, one of them being Africa. Today, Africa is the second largest continent, just after the Asia. Today, Africa is the second most populous continent in the world. No matter what previous South African president said in his statements. Today, politically, this continent is divided to 54 countries. South Africa being one of the largest, but not the largest. When it comes to the territory, it is number 9. Algeria, Libya, Sudan, Mali, Ethiopia, Egypt, Chad, Congo, and then South Africa. A lot of people live here today, 60 million, more than 65 million people, but it's not the biggest in Africa. The biggest is Nigeria, 190 million. The second one, the one right over here, Ethiopia, 110. 50 years ago, Ethiopia, 25 million people. We can see the exponential growth. Egypt, 101 million, and so on. Why is that important? 1,000 years back, people were saying that a minor number of people lived here. But over the next few days, you will be able to see so much construction work that you will wonder and you will ask yourself, who built it? Where is the manpower to do that? Where are the tools? And what was the purpose? Right now we are in the area of the northern South African state, Republic of South Africa. We are in between Johannesburg, which is the largest city in this country, 10 million people, and Pretoria, right behind us, which is one of the 3 capitals, one of the 3 heads of the political power in South Africa. Johannesburg, 10 million, still not the largest on this continent. The biggest one, Cairo, 30 million people. The second one, we have Lagos, Nigeria. The third one, we have Angola, Rwanda, Johannesburg number 4. This is the country that has the closest way of living and standard like West Europe, America, Australia. Why Michael has chosen this place as the first one for your visit here? Tzwaing crater is one of the 4 craters created by meteors in this country, and one of 170 on the planet. Our planet, even though it's very small cosmic body, got hit over the period of millions of years, many times. In most cases, by smaller pieces of rocks, meteorites. They burn in the atmosphere. But sometimes they are big enough to go through and hit the planet. What we have here is the case of 50 meters in diameter, big cosmic rock, going through all the obstacles, hitting the planet, hitting the place with a lot of granite rock, which is one of the hardest material in the nature. And it brought havoc. You can see a lot of granite rocks, including those that you are sitting on, that got disturbed by this hard hit of meteor. If it really happened 220,000 years ago, then yes, those who were living around were able to see this impact tens and tens of kilometers around, to see, to hear, and to feel. So if they were around, like Michael is saying, then yes, it's been written in the DNA through their oral and other traditions. Our planet in the last 100,000 years went through major cataclysms on the planet. 75,000 years back, a huge volcanic eruption in Indonesia. It's called Toba. It was so huge that for 10 years people could not see the sky. And look at us today. Beautiful blue sky above us, 26 degrees, and the date, January 31st, 2020, middle of the winter in our northern hemisphere, middle of the summer here in the southern hemisphere. During that volcanic eruptions, which cannot be measured on our scale from 1 to 12, it was much stronger. More than 99% of humans were wiped off from the face of the planet. A few numbers of them, by hiding in underground tunnels and natural caves, survived. When they got back on the surface, after 1,000 years, the long winters, they started from the beginning. 54,000 years, another global catastrophe. So, if we believe in existence of the mysterious land of Atlantis in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, it seems that was the end of their first phase. The third catastrophe happened most probably 32,000 years back. Huge and very aggressive solar flames. We know from the Sumerian records that exactly then, 32,000 years back, we had a time when gods, with a small g, walked the earth and they left. And then the lesser gods came later. Gods would live and rule Sumerian lands for 30,000 years in average. Lesser gods, 1,000 years in average. At the same time, the process of existence of those lesser gods was present in Egypt. They would rule 1,000 years each. And of course, for us humans, Homo sapiens, they did look like a god because they never die for generations and generations. The next huge catastrophe, 18,000 years back, and the fifth one, 12,500, the end of the third phase of the Atlantis, or the biblical flood. So, these are 5 geological events that can be traced here on the surface of the planet. You know how they teach us that humans are the product of the evolution, applying Darwinism? In the last century, especially during the 1960s and 1970s, this was this wave of the optimism when anthropologists, archaeologists, and the others were finding a lot of traces of bones, of species belonging to hominids, like Australopithecus and the others. For example, 1974, the famous Lucy was discovered in northern Ethiopia, and she was traced back to 2.2 million years. Now Lucy has a skull of chimpanzee, but she was bipedal, so she was the first species walking on the earth, coming from the trees. Even though later on, like in August of 2019, just half a year ago, another Australopithecus were discovered again in Ethiopia, more than 3 million years, more than 3.1 million years in Tanzania, even here in South African land, even Namibia and so on. We can go back for millions, but we are not talking about the Homo sapiens. What they are telling us is, so you have those species, monkeys, then you have apes, then you have Australopithecus, finally you have the most advanced, Neanderthals, and somehow Homo sapiens. Let's stop right there. Neanderthal, even though bigger, with a bigger volume of brain than us, was very advanced animal. And then all of the sudden, Homo sapiens showed up, most probably 400,000 years back. In biology, there is a term, expression, a missing link. Basically, biologists do confirm that there is a missing link between Neanderthal, very advanced animal, and then Homo sapiens, intelligent, artistic being, us. Otherwise, it would be needed 5 million years from Neanderthals to us. But it has shown up literally overnight. Now, we will be talking about the origin of man over the next few days, and we will be hearing with a lot of arguments from Michael what really happened there. But the most reasonable explanation is that yes, Homo sapiens is a product of genetic engineering, which automatically means there were species more advanced than us who were actually engineering us. What they did, they combined the genetic material of most advanced animal with their genetic material. How do we know that, and how can we prove that? Now, apes, monkeys, they were product of hundreds of thousands of years of development, and really the fittest survived. If you are big enough, if you are strong enough, you are capable of finding the caves, places to live, and places to attract females. Those who were weak, they would not procreate. So yes, we can really follow that in the case of monkeys and apes, even Neanderthal. Only the strongest survived. Meaning, if you are the strongest, then the genetic material you are getting to the next generation is very good quality. Apes, Australopithecus, Neanderthals had 2 or 3 genetic flaws. The moment they got born, they had very small chance in getting some diseases. And then Homo sapiens came 400,000 years back. Very advanced, artistic, but 5,000 genetic flaws. Why? Because the genetic material from some beings out of this planet were mixed with Neanderthal to improve that species. But since those beings were not accustomed to our planet, they brought us those genetical flaws, which in practical terms mean the moment we get born, we are going for sure get cancer, TBC, any kind of other diseases, Parkinson's and so on. This is what the genetical flaws mean. So this is how we got into existence. Is it possible that our role was really just being an ordinary slaves for more advanced beings, and those slaves being developed to dig these gold mines that we have here? It is very possible. We need, of course, more proof. But if we find so many gold mines, especially in this country, which has been known as a country with one of the largest gold deposits on the planet, it becomes almost reality. And some of those gold mines are literally tens of thousands of years old, if not older. We will be discussing that over the next few days. So now we can see that it completely changes what we've been taught in the schools about the humans coming to existence. At this point, it doesn't really matter if we are simply product of species from another planet, or if there were more interventions along the way in the last 400,000 years. It is also very possible. Does it mean that our planet is just a huge experimental ground? It is also very possible. You know how they teach us that Darwinism can explain everything? Darwinism cannot explain major events on this planet. First, the life. They are telling us in schools that somehow from inorganic material, from dead material, organic material came to existence. It is simply impossible. Secondly, they are telling us about the evolution among the animals. You know how they are telling us 75 million years back, dinosaurs got extinct because of the huge meteor and so on. But then within 1,000 years, a whole wide palette of so many mammal species developed. It's simply impossible through Darwinism. It takes millions and millions of years for one type of species, another one. But then you had the whole palette. How is it possible? It is like somebody was seeding our planet. They said, we are not happy with those huge species. Let's go with something which is more accustomed to the environment here. Mammal species. And then finally, they are telling us about the civilization starting 5,000-6,000 years back, Sumerian, Babylon, later on Akkad, Assyria, ancient Egypt, ancient India. Of course, we all know that it is not truth. So, like I told you, in last 100,000 years, we did have 5 huge global catastrophes. Societies were reaching the peaks, catastrophe hit, and then we would need to start from the beginning. The last time, 12,500 years ago, or 11,500 years back, when we started, which we call in science Neolithic times, now we think that we are the only one, the most intelligent, the most advanced, and the most superior. Not realizing when the next global catastrophe hit our planet, when 99% of us are gone, and those who survived, they will need to start from the beginning, they will be making the same mistake. They will be thinking that they are the first one, that they are the most intelligent, the most advanced, and the most beautiful. And they will be making the same mistake like we have today. So, this crater from here to the other side 1.1 kilometers, from there to the other side 1.4 kilometers. Here 5 football fields, 500,000 spectators could be inside. Amazing sights, one of the 4 but the most attractive in South Africa. It tells us about those sometimes very violent events that would be hitting the planet. Sometimes at the same time we would have some forms of the evolution, but what we are carrying in our DNA, are we ready to look the world with the open eyes? So I think people like us, we need to give the message to the future generations. Thank you very much.
Great.